As mentioned by Philip, today we are looking at the past, the present, and the future. And the SMed management team is joining me now to reflect on the present, or at least the present few years. So, what we want to talk about today are 3 key points. So we'll start in 2017 to 2019, looking at how we did a successful turnaround and the operational improvements that we can see that have made to increase quality, efficiency, and reliability. A strong team in the background and guaranteeing the CSR compliance is high on our agenda. Managing the corona crisis, jumping to this year, it's been the biggest challenge for all of us the past months. For SMed, it meant ensuring the safety of our employees and keeping production running to ensure that we can meet the demands. Immediate local measures were introduced and impressive flexibility from our team was seen. In the end, looking to the future, all these actions help to ensure that we are ready for the future. We already got a sneak preview from Philip at the introduction, but he will also join us live at the end to share some further insights into what we are doing to be ready for you and our customers. So Matthias, it's time for me to hand over to you to start the journey about the present.
Thank you, Rachel. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear valued customers, and also dear colleagues, wherever you are watching this live stream. My name is Matthias Breuer. I'm the Finance Director for SMed, or as Rachel named it before, the silent man behind the scenes, which holds true at least towards you, valued customers. You might ask, why is the finance guy talking about an operational turnaround? When Philip, Andreas and I took over in late 2017, right after the dissolution of the former joint venture with the Thai partner, we found a business full of operational inefficiencies and a double-digit million cash drain per year. Our performance lacked, both in financials and in operations. You only can improve what you can measure. And so, together with our board member Felix Fremerey, we implemented a KPI-based restructuring program, which, shoulder to shoulder with our world-class manufacturing approach, covered our entire process landscape and value chain. So we gained track in 2018, still on a huge loss position, but today we can report with humbleness and pride that we accomplished the turnaround in 2019 and all our KPIs improved significantly since then, in production efficiency, but most important to you, in quality and reliability. One KPI was made available by you customers, and it is a brilliant tracer for our turnaround, the customer satisfaction survey. As you can see, the results improved nicely. My colleague Larissa will later take a step closer into it. I promise to you that we will not stop and we will continue to tirelessly work on our performance and processes. This is also the time for me to sincerely express my gratitude to you, valued customers, as you supported us on our way with your feedback and collaboration. But now let's join Philip on a walk through one of our maintenance workshops in Kamunting, where he explains us how world-class manufacturing helped us to improve.
Hello again. As Matthias has described, after the demerger of our former joint venture in Thailand, operational challenges led this company to a lot of difficulties. We were making financial losses, and you as customers were experiencing some instability in quality and particularly delivery. Actually, at the end of 2017, I hope you don't remember, more than 80% of our deliveries were delayed. Since the beginning of 2018, we have done a lot of work upgrading our shop floor management and introducing a lean system called world-class manufacturing. It all starts with what we saw behind me there: safety mindset and environmental protection. We're moving on towards more recycling, more reuse, and saving energy and rubbish. At the same time, in the shop floor management, every area where we do maintenance of our machines looks like this. Here, every spare part which is in frequent use is located close to the shop floor. Every part has an exact description, how many should be on stock, after how many pieces usage we have to reorder. All this is defined, and there is a list at every one of these locations with a name of the person who is in charge of which area. In this way, world-class manufacturing has led us to do the right prioritization, choose the right methods to attack first, and involve all the people. That's the most important part. Here, this is the place where the Plant 7 maintenance teams plans their daily activity. We can see, like everywhere, a risk assessment. We see 1-point lessons to provide continuous training to the people. And we see what we call 6S corners, where we make sure that orderliness, cleanliness, systematic, and safety are ensured in the workplace. Moving further, here we can see one of our teams working. This is actually my favorite place. It's the so-called Kaizen corner. And every area, more than 100 areas of the plant, has now got its own Kaizen corner. It's here that the current 500 initiatives, which we are tracking to improve further, take their beginning. It all starts over here, where the team, like here, this is Ganesh, the head of maintenance for Plant 7, and some of his team members. Every week they meet here to review the ideas which have come up by the team, problems that they have faced, to go into the cycle of continuous improvement. And the team over there has one target: every day, one improvement idea. This is how we were able to turn the company around and come to high performance. So guys, take a look at the picture. You are now in the 100 years video. Say hello, and let's keep improving. Thanks. Thanks very much.
So, great insight. A turnaround is never about only KPIs and financials. It is about finding the right people who take ownership and who strive for the better. I trust this is what we have in Sempermed, and we are very proud to work with each and every one of our colleagues. As proof for the Sempermed spirit and our contagious passion, we got awarded the Semperit Team Award in 2019, which at least to us is like being awarded the Oscar for the best cast. After the ceremony in Vienna, we sent the award on a journey, not only through the regions, but also through the centuries. As you can see, our colleagues in Sempermed US in the style of the Year of our Foundation in the right corner. As a CFO, approving expenses usually gives you a hard time. But this one I approved with a smile. Why? Because it's simply the right thing to do. We at Sempermed stand for our values. We are a frontrunner in CSR compliance with our zero recruitment fee, which we implemented in 2019, and the reimbursement of recruitment fees. This topic is in the spotlight of many countries, and some of our competitors even got banned from supplying their gloves. We at Sempermed make sure this will not happen to you. Besides smooth business operations, CSR and human rights are our priority. So this was a spotlight on 2017 to 2019. Andreas, what happened in 2020?
Let's look into 2020 then. Thank you very much, Matthias, for this overview of the Sempermed turnaround. My name is Andreas Böss. I am the Director of Sales at Sempermed, and I would like to take the next few minutes to talk about a very special year, 2020, the year of the coronavirus, to provide you with some insights and behind the scenes information as to how we managed this global health crisis so far, and to show you why we are confident to be well prepared to cope with movement restriction measures and a very tight raw material situation. I think the corona pandemic with its effect on glove demand is nothing that any one of us has seen so far. What we tried to do over the past weeks is to match supply and demand figures during epidemics like SARS, MERS, H1N1 or Ebola with what is going on right now. And this is simply to show that there is no comparison of the past with the current pandemic. Also in previous outbreaks, we witnessed a peak in glove demand and annual growth, but never highs on such levels as right now with Corona. Normally, also the growth rates after an outbreak occurs were moderate, at least for 1 to 2 years. But now, Corona brings, and that we can foresee, above average growth rates even in the next 2 years. From multiple customer interviews, from a survey among a large number of customers, and from analysis of external data, we derived a demand change model that my colleague Fedora will present in more detail later on. Here, I just wanted to show with you the main conclusion of this work, and that is that even under conservative assumptions, we will see a demand increase of more than 50% for gloves this year, leading to a sustainable total glove demand of at least 330 billion gloves this year, which is much higher than the total global production capacity currently. We believe that this undersupply situation will remain at least well into 2022. And until then, we will face a reality in which glove availability is the highest priority for our distribution partners and the whole market. I think this huge increase in demand is happening in an environment that is facing many restrictions. In order to fight the virus, all countries developed strategies that included some form of movement control for the citizens and obligatory safety measures to prevent further infection. Especially in our production sites, we had to reorganize very quickly to ensure that the likelihood of getting the virus into our factories in Kamunting, in Wimpassing and in Sopron is minimized. Regular body temperature control, strict physical distancing, proper use of PPE, and tightened disinfection procedures are only just a few examples of what was implemented immediately to ensure that we can continue with our glove production, especially in such a critical phase. And I think to get a better impression of what this actually means that you see here on pictures, let's bring in Philip again live, not live, but from Kamunting basically.
Another topic we should talk about today is the new normal. Not only has the COVID-19 pandemic brought to all of us together an unprecedented boom, but also an unprecedented shortage of raw materials for us and gloves for you. It has also brought about significant operational challenges. We have, at shift changeover, we have 1,000 people going in and 1,000 people going out of the factory. Each of them has to be temperature scanned, recorded. Each of them must get one of the face masks. Actually, I should not be standing here without a face mask. And you have to know, in our vicinity, some factories have been shut down from operation for some time because their workers were not following the rules or because of a few cases happening in the factory. At the moment, we're doing well. We are buying 50,000 masks every day. We flew the first 50,000 from Austria because there was a shortage over here. We hired additional rooms for several hundred workers so that there are not so many people sleeping in one room. We set up a lot of tents next to the canteen so people can sit at more separations. We put separate toilets and separate canteens for the contractors so that they don't mix with our people, and so on. Even the number of buses that we employ for bringing the workers has been doubled so that every row has only one worker sitting. Here behind me, you see our team doing the measurements, and we have meanwhile got a very high level of discipline. Even without supervision, our workers keep the distance in the moment when they change the shift. So I will go back to the office and enjoy the rest of the meeting with you. Thank you very much.
Philip, thank you very much for these impressions from Kamunting. And to continue along this line, also for our commercial team, the sales, customer service, product management colleagues that you are in contact with on a daily basis, the pandemic meant a massive change in work style. After the lockdown period, in which our offices were really as deserted as they look on this picture, we started to divide our commercial workforce into two groups to ensure that in case of an outbreak, not all colleagues would be affected at the same time. Working from home became the new standard, and from what I perceive so far, this did not have any negative effect on the service level provided to you, our distribution partners. Unfortunately, all these safety measures also mean to curb contact with customers, for example, for factory visits or regarding trade show participation. All of us really hope to restart with those activities in the middle of next year, the latest. One other important topic that the demand increase during this pandemic triggered is the raw material availability, especially for NBR latex that is needed for nitrile glove production. There are only a couple of chemical companies that produce the NBR latex needed for glove production. Most of them are situated in Asia, in South Korea, Malaysia, or Taiwan, which make up for more than 80% of the global NBR latex production capacity. As the increase of capacity is something that takes time for such factories, all of them had capacity expansion plans that were drafted before Corona. The graph on the right-hand side shows that the plan of this industry was to grow from 2019 to 2023 by 28%. If you compare this 28% growth over 4 years with a growth rate of gloves of more than 50% in only 1 year, it is very obvious that there is not enough NBR latex in the market to satisfy the whole demand. Our procurement team so far was successfully building on long-time existing relations with multiple suppliers to secure enough NBR latex for our production. Yet going forward, the fight for NBR latex will get tougher every month, certainly influencing also the pricing for this raw material. And maybe in some cases we must discuss in how far a temporary switch to natural rubber gloves can be an alternative to make up for nitrile shortage. Another change that the Corona pandemic triggered was our sales of outsourced gloves. In the past, roughly 25% of our glove sales were done with complementary products coming from reliable third-party providers. This has changed dramatically over the past few months, as such suppliers rather sell opportunistically in the current environment, and thus we cannot offer many of the previously outsourced gloves. Currently, it is only around 10% of gloves that we still sell as outsourced products. Also here, our colleagues from procurement work on establishing alternatives and start new partnerships, yet I would say a normalization is only expected for when supply and demand in the glove market are more balanced. Some countries were affected earlier than others from the Corona outbreak. Some distribution partners foresaw the need of gloves earlier than others. In order to avoid a first-come, first-served situation in the booking of our factory, we introduced a volume allocation system early on in 2020. Our goal was and still is to support long-standing business partners by covering at least their pre-Corona demand. I know this is a very sore topic for many of you, but please be assured that we try to set up this volume allocation in a fair manner and are still optimizing for our 2021 booking. One element that made the volume allocation system more difficult was the before mentioned limited supply of outsourced gloves. In many such cases, we cannot fulfill the pre-Corona demand, which leads to a reduction of offered volumes. One positive thing that this crisis has shown was how quickly we can react as one team between our distribution partners and Sempermed to deal with urgencies. And the best example for this, in my view, was the organization of numerous air freights during the lockdown period to cover immediate needs in many European countries. UK, Hungary, Germany, Turkey and, of course, Austria decided to optimize transportation time by using airplanes to get gloves 2-3 weeks earlier than usual. For all involved colleagues from production, supply chain, logistics and customer service, this was a real challenge, yet a challenge they mastered with numerous glove liners, fully loaded with gloves even on the passenger seats, successfully supporting the medical systems in these countries in April and May. And of course, throughout this crisis, we tried to help wherever it is possible through glove donations, to at least provide some support in the worst affected countries like Italy, or in the countries where we are based in Malaysia, Hungary or Austria. Obviously, such efforts can only be a small piece in the overall puzzle of the current glove demand picture, but it is a starting point for us. After this brief description of how the year 2020 looked so far, we wanted to share our thoughts with you. We wanted to share why we believe that Sempermed is a reliable partner even during such difficult times. So let me now hand over to Philip for talking a little bit more about the future of Sempermed.
Warm welcome from my side again, this time, however, not pre-recorded, but live from my office here at Latex Partners in Malaysia. Actually, next door, my managers are sitting together with my wife and watching the live stream while having a nice dinner. I would like to say hello to everyone over there and all the colleagues in the US and in Europe. At Sempermed, we pay a lot of attention to teamwork because it's the basis for performance improvements. And in this year of the pandemic, we had the idea of asking our employees to make some contributions. We received 3 safety awareness videos and 42 100 years posters. 2 of them are hanging here behind me. And I just like to share the winner. Yesterday, we took the decision that this poster that was painted by a technician in the former holder workshop of Latex Partners is going to be the winning poster for the 100 years poster competition. Let me now close the management update with a little view on into the future. As you have seen in the introductory video, this year has brought a big gift to all of us. Last year we achieved the turnaround, the decision to invest in 6 more lines in Plant 7. Engineering is ongoing. Suppliers are under selection, and as early as this year, we will upgrade the electrical system of the factory for the additional load. At the same time, we are preparing to start the installation of the lines in the next year, and in the 4th quarter, latest, that is our promise, we will deliver gloves to you from there. On the other side of this picture, on the other picture of this slide, you can also see a construction site. This is the building where, until about a year ago, we produced powdered latex gloves, which we have decided not to produce anymore. We have just dismantled all the machinery. The next steps will be a new ground plate, some touch up to the building, and then we will install here the new maintenance center, the new former center. You remember 28,000 formers on every production line need to be stored, cleaned, and organized. We will also put some research and development facilities here. So this will somehow become the hub of efficiency improvement here at Latex Partners. However, future is not only about operations, although I'm an engineer. This next picture symbolizes the road that will take us together, you and us, into a mysterious 2021 and 2022. We all had to learn a lot of new methods, just like Andreas mentioned, how to deal with allocations and shortages, and that may still be around in 2021 and maybe even 2022. So the road ahead may be a little bit less smooth, more bumpy than what you see in the picture. And we need your feedback when we want to fulfill your request of opening the order book for 2022 very soon. This is a new situation, not only for you, also for us. And we need your feedback to find together a fair way, how to come to reliable mutual commitments, which on the one hand represent the new market reality, at the same time also deliver enough reliability and dependability as you can expect it from Sempermed. This is the next steps that we have to take together. We will be your reliable partner. Thank you for joining us. And with this, I hand back to Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all three of you. And Philip, it's great that we got to see you in your sites, in your home territory, and also that the live connection worked really well. So thank you for having this. And then at the end, the team will be back again to answer any questions that you might have raised on our Menti question. So please, again, a quick reminder to please go to menti.com and enter the code that's on the screen below to submit any questions or vote for any of your favorite questions that you would like the team to answer at the end of the session.